When you keep pushing through your fatigue day in and day out, but deep down you wonder, is this now my new normal? Is it really my age? Is this going to be my life? I mean, you're showing up and you're getting things done, of course, but it never feels productive enough because maybe you just can't find that consistent energy that you once had. And the worst part, you are exhausted even when you're not doing anything. So you start asking yourself, where is this exhaustion coming from? That is exactly where Melanie was, telling me, I don't feel great every day, feeling mentally done after work and barely having the energy to even think about taking care of herself, let alone meal prepping. Sound familiar? If so, you are going to love today's Spotlight coaching call. I am talking with Melanie, who is a beautiful, high-achieving woman struggling with exhaustion, lack of mental energy, and to boot, she is struggling with implementing boundaries around her own care. Melanie opens up and is sharing her day with us and how her daily constant fatigue is affecting her. She shares how her stress is high in her life, her energy is low, and how she rarely feels good. Now, you may see yourself a bit in her story, and you too will walk away with some action steps that you can begin to implement right now in your own life, in your own day, to help support your body through your daily exhaustion. And if you are also someone who thrives on staying busy, but you still find yourself exhausted all the time, maybe even feeling drained when you're not doing anything, and you are wondering where this exhaustion is coming from, you can stop wondering. Book your free fatigue freedom call with me today because you do not have to keep up the cycle of daily fatigue and feeling exhausted no matter what you do. If you are tired of piecing it all together on your own, wondering if anything will actually work for you, it's time for a real solution. So book your fatigue freedom call today, and I will help you uncover why you are exhausted all the time so you can finally see what's keeping you from feeling like yourself again. Because my friend, you do not have to figure out your exhaustion all on your own. So go to treasuredwellness.com/contact or click the link in the description below. That's treasuredwellness.com/contact or click the link in the description below. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Treasured Wellness. Today we have a special guest. Melanie is here with us to do a Spotlight coaching call, and she won a free coaching session a little while back. And today we are going to dive into one of her health concerns. So Melanie, welcome. Happy to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, let's dive right in. Okay. So Melanie, you reached out to me because you are having consistent fatigue. And
Yes,
I believe you even said it was daily. Is that right?
yes, yes, yes. I've struggled for a while, just feeling exhausted. I'm a busybody by nature. I like to stay busy. I work. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I've always worked full time, and then I'm a party planner at heart. And so I'm just someone who goes 16, 18 hours a day. But the past few years, I've just noticed I'm exhausted, even when I don't do anything, even when I'm like, okay, maybe I was doing too much. So I wouldn't do something, and I'm just still exhausted all the time. So, yeah, I'm kind of been struggling with where all that has stemmed from. As I've aged, I turned 40 this year. It just seems like things are definitely different. Um, and and I see, there's that, is it my age? But there's people older than me that are trucking right along, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's it. So
And I'm glad that you said that because you're absolutely right. There's a woman who I love dearly. She used to be a mentor of mine back in the day. She's 77 years old and she is literally like the Energizer Bunny.
yeah,
And it's
impressive.
like, I want to be her when I grow up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it
Exactly.
can be possible. It is possible. We shouldn't feel like it's our age because
Right.
that's really just a number. And I know that sounds trite, but it really is just a number. And
Yeah.
it shouldn't give us license to do less,
Right.
especially, when we have a call, from the Lord on our life. So how long have you been living with this daily fatigue, Melanie?
Oh, probably 3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I would say I noticed it more starting in my mid 30s. And it just kind of has progressively gotten worse. I like physical activity. I've ran half marathons, I've done CrossFit. So, fitness, I've always kind of made that a part of my life. And so, it's been a big struggle to just not have the energy to do that. And so that takes a mental toll, I think, on you as well, to just not have the energy to do things that your body, I feel like, needs. So yeah, that's been a struggle.
And it brings you joy. So you want to
Oh
do
yeah.
that. So
Exactly.
how are you feeling after you do those events, though? Like, where are your energy levels at after?
So I would say they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. But it's almost like I go through, and I think this is, let's see, how do I explain it? My body doesn't want to do things the way that it used to. And so a lot more aches and pains and that sort of thing. And then I always jump between like doing too much, don't want to injure myself. Do I need to give my body rest? But then it just gets back into the cycle of more fatigue and I'm tired. And so it's really been a really hard battle now, more so than when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. I could be sick for 2 weeks and not do nothing, and then bam, bounce right back into it, and I was good to go. And I can't seem to find that consistent energy, that consistent, I feel great every day. I don't feel great every day. So,
And
and
3 to 4 years
makes sense.
yeah, that's a long time. 3 to 4 years
Mhm.
is a long time. You've kind of probably felt like that's your new normal, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be. It's not a good feeling,
Mm-mm.
that hopeless feeling. So,
Right.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are like an overachiever, a high functioning woman that even though you're tired, you're still pushing through. Does that sound fair?
Oh, yes, yes. I work, so I'm a supervisor of ultrasound at an OBGYN office and I run my own business. So I'm doing two full-time jobs essentially. And I thrive on busy,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm definitely high functioning.
Yeah.
So I don't like to sit still.
Right, right. But yet you've got that element of fatigue that's like dragging you down. Like it's a constant
Yeah.
reminder. It's like that thorn
Hmm.
in your
Yep.
side. Yeah. Yeah. It's what I call
Yep.
high functioning fatigue because you keep on going
Hmm.
even
Even
through.
though I'm exhausted.
Exactly. And then, we wonder, see, it takes one to know one. We
Yeah,
wonder,
yeah,
we wonder why, we wake
yeah.
up and we feel like we've been hit by a truck in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I
Yep.
actually slept last night, or I went to bed early last night. Why do I still feel
Mm-hmm.
don't rebound that quickly anymore?
Mm-mm.
So
No.
walk me
Yep.
through, Melanie, if you don't mind. What is your typical day of eating, like breakfast through bedtime?
Hmm. So I would say it varies. If I am at the office working, it's up in the morning, cup of coffee on my way to work. My breakfast will range anywhere from oatmeal to Greek yogurt with fruit. I will snack on, let's say, like rice cakes or turkey sticks or something. Lunch is, so like I told you, I'm at an OBGYN office and it has its
Yeah.
downsides because we get drug rep lunches all the time. So when we don't have a drug rep lunch, I typically eat fairly healthy. I have a salad or like turkey meatballs, something like that. But then on the flip side, we also get fed Texas Roadhouse. We get fed Panda Express. And so when it's kind of there in your face and it's free, you just tend to eat that. And then honestly, dinners are a hot mess with two teenage kids, both active in sports. It really can be anything from like a healthy meatloaf with green beans to pizza 3 nights in a row. Like it just is very, very hit or miss on dinners. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So
Yeah, because
that's
you're at
the
that
weekends.
stage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the weekends are definitely more, I would say I tend to forget to eat. Like weekends, I'm not a big breakfast. I'm really bad about just, I'll have 2 or 3 cups of coffee and, truck right along to whatever until I get hungry, and then I'll grab something with wherever we're at. So
Okay, that's
there's
good.
not a lot of structure.
Okay. No, that's fair. Sure, absolutely. So, can you share with us how you are physically feeling after those drug rep lunches
Oh yeah,
or, the pizza dinners? Like, how are you feeling after you eat?
I'm definitely ready for a nap. Don't feel that great. I do have gut health issues. I've had gut health issues for years and years. I mean, probably since I was a teenager. So I can say that, I know when I eat more clean, more natural, I do feel better. I just struggle with maybe the discipline to eat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially when there's free food in front of my face. And then I struggle with the discipline to um, do healthy dinners. Like I said, that, I'm at that stage of life where it's just extremely difficult. I laugh because during COVID, everybody was stuck inside and couldn't do anything. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, I'm gaining all this weight. I mean, I lost like 20 pounds. I was in great shape and we ate healthy every night. But it was because, I'm in the healthcare field. So I still worked, but my husband worked from home. So he was home with the kids. They did school by the time I got home. The house was clean, kids were home, there was nothing to do. He's fantastic at all that. And I would come home and work out and cook a healthy meal, and that's what we would eat. And so I say that, I enjoyed being shut in because it was,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of allowed me to see, like, oh, this is, I mean, I took care of myself
Yeah.
better during that time period. And so but man, I've just struggled too. The kids were younger then, with just getting back into a routine when there is no such thing as a routine
Hmm.
with teenage kids. Like, I just feel like that's, I will come to a point in my life where the kids they're grown and they're, off to college, and maybe I can make more of a routine for myself then. But I also don't want to let myself feel miserable throughout these important years and busy years with them. I don't want to just be exhausted and tired and grouchy because of that with them.
No.
So,
No. And, reality wise, like thinking realistically, number one, you shouldn't have to wait until the kids are out of the house to take care of
right.
yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be some sort of balance. And then secondly, your health will just continue to decline. The fatigue can actually turn into something more serious over time if we don't address it. So
Right.
we need to devise something that works for you, like a plan that works for you. So
Mm-hmm.
you did share that you have a high stress job. Would there be
Two.
something? Yes, exactly. And a wife and a mom and caretaker of your family, right? So would there be something that you could possibly let go right now in this season or delegate it out? Because you also shared that you have a hard time saying no.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. That's kind of been a topic between my husband and I, because I own a business as well that is growing. And, you know, there has definitely been a lot of talk of delegating more of that business, and to setting boundaries. I'm not good at setting boundaries, and being
Mhm.
a supervisor, I feel like I'm always on call. So if, someone is going to call in, they call in to me. If someone is planning a vacation, that comes to me. I do feel like I need to set more boundaries on contact me from here to here. But I'm not good about, if I do find myself sitting doing nothing and I'm like, oh, I've got this to do tomorrow, I will just, I'm just going to go ahead and get started on that now. Like, that personality in me, that busybody, that productive. I like to be productive. So if I can find time to do something, then I'm going to, instead of maybe taking the time for myself, I'm going to do that. And so I really struggle with setting boundaries, with saying no, and then sticking to it. I may say it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stick to it. So
Okay, well that's really really key, honestly, right? Because
yeah.
you're just hurting yourself in the long run.
Hmm.
So I would encourage you to consider what small little shift can you make
Hmm.
in your mindset, just very small that you can then stick to that
Right. Hmm.
as far as so like when you are torn, maybe it's 8:30 at night and instead of getting ready for bed or just, laying on the couch with a book and a mug of tea, you open up your laptop again and you answer
Hmm.
an email or something.
Yep.
What could you do instead that is disciplining yourself, but it's also giving you a form of self-care? Because I
I,
know the pull is strong. I understand
mhm,
that. I
mhm.
recognize that. The pull is strong, but it's hurting you.
I really think, and I have not done this yet. I've thought it, and I've even spoke it out loud to my husband. I need to come home and I need to put my phone away. Like I need to put my phone away. Not just text messages, that sort of thing. I've I have jokingly said many times, I hate cell phones. Like I hate it. I hate having a phone attached to my side. Growing up in the era where we didn't have that, I'm like, oh man, how nice was it back when I used to go and shop with my mom and there was no distractions. I
Mhm.
was with my mom. I would look out the car window, and I see that with my daughter who's also looking at a phone all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's even with like me having restrictions and time restrictions and all that. If you have it, it's in your hand. But just the social media side of things with running my own business as well, it's all tied to social media. So my phone is constantly messages, alerts, messages, that sort of thing. And I, you know, I just need to come home and set my phone down and not touch it again. And so that's kind of, that whole struggle with, I've jokingly said, we need to get a landline. So I can,
Yeah.
hey, I tell my parents, if you need me in the evenings, you call the landline. You don't call myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that would probably, if I could disconnect from that for the evenings, that would be huge because then I'm not seeing the stuff that I feel like I need to respond to. Cannot wait until the next day, most definitely. But if I pick up my phone and I see this message, I'm inclined to, because I'm a people pleaser. I don't want somebody to wait on me. I'm inclined to go ahead and address it and send it out. So,
Mm. I hear you. I hear you. It's that people pleasing mindset, one of the
yeah,
four
yeah.
mindsets that we talk about in Midlife Health Makeover. It's the people pleasing mindset that we have,
Hmm.
and it's really hard to break. But you know who can help you break that? The Lord can help you break that. And so
Yes.
giving him your mindset and it's that Romans 12 too, right?
It's not too
Renewing
bad.
your
It
mind.
is.
Renewing your mind.
Sorry
It's
about
okay.
that.
It's okay. Yeah, I know you're in a hallway. Melanie has to go back to work.
Most quiet place I could find for the time being.
Oh, sure. No, you're fine.
Besides the bathroom, and I really wasn't sure that we would want a toilet in the back in the background.
No,
So
I think this is perfect.
this just goes to show you, like everything. I feel like I'm just my life is chaotic right now. That's a perfect description. It's not.
Right. And really
Oh,
this is something that, making these small little changes to support yourself, to support your nervous system, to support your adrenals, to support your body systems is really going to help you. It's not that you have to throw everything out and start fresh and do everything all at once, okay? Because that's going to be overwhelming and you're going to feel deprived over something. So I want you to consider how can your routine shift? We need to, you said that having a routine is hard.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's just start really slow and small with a routine in the evening. Like create
Okay.
that calming routine at night so that you know that when you walk in that door, work is done. You have that
Mm-hmm.
off button. And something about your phone, you could delete all apps on the weekends, or you could
Yeah.
simply, I mean, that's something that you could do, delete all those social media apps. So that way it's not, if you do have your phone, it's not tempting to, when you're standing in line somewhere, get on
Habit.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Yep.
you're wanting to change this slowly, gently, but also with discipline.
Right.
The same discipline that keeps you so good at your job, that same discipline that keeps you where you are, getting those projects done and you're jumping in even before you really need to jump in. I
Right.
encourage you to use that same discipline in helping yourself to recover and just to give yourself some support. It's that self-care that is just in the daily action, the daily
Right.
action. So I would suggest that you create a calming routine at night. And if
Okay.
it's easier for you to start this like an hour before bed and you're just doing this a calming bedtime routine, do that. But because you specifically said your phone, like getting rid of your phone when you get home, I say let's start there.
Yeah.
Even if you get
Yeah.
home at like 5 o'clock, start there. Put it in a drawer, turn it off, whatever. And then if you have to do something, which I'm sure you will for your job, your business, you're doing it on your laptop or your computer, and
Right.
it's not that temptation uh,
Mm-hmm.
right there. It's not like an appendage, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because
So
that's what
that,
it's become. It's it's and it's
right,
so habit forming that you do it and you don't even think about it. Like
right,
I
right.
will, I may pick my phone up to for a perfect example, I was working on my Bible study the other night and I picked up my phone to go and look up a specific Bible verse. And I pick up my phone and I had a Facebook notification. I picked up my phone to look up a Bible verse. Out of habit, click on it, get sucked into that. Like
Yeah,
and it's
it's
like,
like that.
what was I doing? Like
Right, right.
I am trying to focus on spending time in God's word. And next thing I know, it's just like, I wasn't even picking up my phone to look at Facebook, but yet here I am. What is happening?
Exactly. And the enemy
So,
comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he's doing that. He works with the mind, of course. He's
mhm,
always battling the mind, targeting the mind. So I would also like starting now, I would turn off all notifications except for maybe text messages because you have
yeah.
kids, you have a
Mhm,
family. But I would get rid of all notifications. And this is very common. We get pinged and dinged and all of
oh,
this.
yeah.
Our
Mhm,
mind is constantly on high alert so that
mhm,
when it's time for bed, it's hard for us to shut our brains down and we
right.
feel
Yeah.
exhausted all the time. So,
Mhm,
i- you know, there's so much more we could talk about, but let me just give you some quick, easy action steps. So, I would work on creating a calming routine at night, focusing
okay.
on self-care, and that's going to start with your mindset shift.
Okay.
So, speak to the Lord about this, spend some time with Him and talk about that. Have a special verse that you can hold on to. Put your phone away after work, turning off all notifications immediately. Like, start
Mhm,
that today. And then if you want to, you can delete those apps on the weekends. And then I would be sure that you are getting enough protein to help keep your energy levels more stable. So try really hard not to skip meals anymore. And I'm glad you're only doing it on the weekends more so than the weekdays, but try really hard to, grandma said breakfast was the most important meal of the
oh,
day.
yeah.
And
Mhm,
she was right. But
mhm,
women over 35, 40, they really need more protein. We just
yeah.
need protein for our hormones, for our energy levels. So I would encourage you to pack some good, healthy protein snacks. You mentioned turkey sticks, things like
Mhm,
that, and focus more on protein more than those quick, easier snacks.
mhm,
And, we can talk later about some suggestions for brands and quality and all of that, but
yeah.
definitely having some protein filled snacks at work. And then make sure your water intake is like,
Yep.
you know,
I do fairly well with water. That's probably about the only thing that I do
excellent.
pretty good on.
Good, good. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So what do you think about those action steps? Do you think they're doable? And
Yeah.
maybe not starting all at once, but like working towards those?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think, taking that time out for myself. And I do feel like that may be part of the overwhelm. Whereas I used to be really good about meal planning and would be successful in that. But that was also before I owned a business, before I was a supervisor of 8 people, like a whole department. Like, so I would come home and my thing to do in the evening was, all right, what am I going to eat next week? What am I going to grocery shop for? Well, now by the time I get to where I could think about that, like I'm just so mentally done. Like I just I don't have the energy to even think about taking care of myself. I mean, essentially is what it is. And like you said, I think maybe turning off all the other notifications, putting my phone away will then in turn, oh, what am I going to do with my time? I'm going to take care of myself. So,
Absolutely. And let this build on, because as you do one thing, you're going to be like, oh, now I want to like take a bath, or I want to soak my feet, or I want to, read a book with a mug of tea, so just let it build so that you're creating those healthy habits. It takes time. We all know it takes, they say 21 days, but I really think it takes longer than 21 days because we're so high achieving, we're so high functioning. So be gentle with yourself. Like I tell my clients, give yourself grace, but grit too.
Yes.
Grace and grit.
Perfect.
Good. Well, I look forward to hearing back from you and seeing how
yes.
you are doing in a couple of weeks. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Could you relate to Melanie? Have you too struggled with your exhaustion for several years? Oh, my friend, I pray this episode gave you encouragement that you are not alone and hope that you actually can recover from your daily physical and mental fatigue. You can stop searching and piecing things together all on your own. So book your free fatigue freedom call today, and I will help you uncover why you are exhausted all the time so that you can finally see what's keeping you from feeling like yourself again. I want to leave you with the main verse that Treasured Wellness was founded on over 10 years ago, 3 John 2. Beloved, I pray that in every way you may prosper and enjoy good health as your soul also prospers. I love that verse so much. It is God's intention that his children enjoy good health and that our soul, which is our mind, will, and emotions, also is in good health and can prosper. So hold tight to that. Share this episode with a friend. And remember, you are a beautiful treasure and your body is a temple. So treasure your wellness.